So let's take a look at how we add pods. Here's an example of a layout. You can add a pod to any one of your layouts, or you can start a new layout. All right, so I'll say this is a layout that I had here, and I've already added a couple of pods. I added an attendance pod, a chat pod, a camera and a voice pod, because maybe I want people to be able to see my beautiful mug here to start with. And I can move these around, I can resize them, but I have a big open area right here. Maybe I'll get this one a little bit smaller. I can also change my text size in here. If I say, I really wish they could read this a little better, I can change my text size. So this usually is what I'm going over today, my agenda, things like that. Okay. So down here I have a big area, and maybe what I want to do is when they arrive, I want them to be able to see the time, be able to test their music, and play a little bit of that game. So here's how I would do it. I would go up here to pods, and I'd roll down to say share and add a new share pod. Now after you've put in the clock and the music player, it will remember them in this list. But the first time you do it, you'll do this. You'll say share my screen, and you'll come down to share a document. I don't know why they call it a document, but they do. And then over here, I'll poke my nose around in here until I can find this folder that says all of these, and one's called shared content for a fun meeting, and down here is where they have some activities. Okay, and if I want the one, maybe I'd like to have the clock up here, so I can click the clock, say OK, and it comes in big, but I can resize it because it's Flash, or because it's really an applet. It doesn't matter here when I resize it; it just automatically will still look good. Okay, so I can decide whatever size I think is good. And I say right there, perfect. So now they know what time it starts. Let me insert another one. This one is going to be a new shared one, and I'm going to select music player, share my screen, share my documents, select under shared content for a fun meeting. I'm going to click the music player right here and say OK, and it's going to start playing that wonderfully annoying music, and I can adjust the size here. All right. The big reason for putting the music in, I'll stop it from playing, is because then your attendees know are their speakers working. Notice it also calls it music player. I'm seeing the two up here because I've inserted them before. Now the next one is maybe down here I'd like to show the screen, a welcome screen that I already have up on my other screen, and I'd like to have that all queued up. So I'm going to go back to pods, to share, add a new share pod. I could also do a share pod here. The difference is that this will put a number behind it. So if I already have a shared pod over here that says shared, and I want my shared pod on my welcome to be different, that's why I would pick a new shared pod. But if I want it to be the same as this one that's just called share, I'll go back here and I'll insert the same one. I'll say go down to here, share, and I'll click share. Now it came in small. I'm not really sure why, probably because that was what it was the last time. So I'll open it up, and here we go. So now I have a place for my agenda, notes, and if that wasn't in there, let me just hide that. Here's how I'd put the notes in. Pod, notes, and I can add a note that I might have already used before, one of these, or add a new blank one. The difference once again is each one of these can be different on your different layouts. So I'll put this one in, and there's my notes, and I'll go ahead and resize that so it'll fit the space. So now, and this one is my welcome. This is where they should land when they come in. I think the one up in the upper right corner is the one they land in first. So why don't you give that a try? Don't forget about recording. And your recording is under meetings, record meeting. You give it a name. You can change it. By default, it takes the name of the address and adds a number behind it, and say OK. A little red button will show in the corner. So here's my little red button that shows it's recording. And if I want to pause it, I can pause it right now. And maybe I have an off-topic conversation and resume recording. And when I get all done, I can stop the recording right here. This little box will disappear in just a minute, or if it bothers me, I can click little X. So I can stop it by clicking up here and stop my recording. Now, You go back into rimsey.adobeconnect.com to be able to modify that, or as someone was sharing with me, you can come down here and you can go to manage your meeting information, which will take you right back to your course. I'll bring it over here so you can see it. And in here, I can go right to my recordings. And in my recordings, this is the one that I want to use right here. I'll click the checkbox in front of it, select access type, change it to public, say save. And then when I click on it now, it says public. And when I click on it again, it'll give me the URL right here that I can put on a website or email to people. And again, I do like to tell them how long my recording is so they have an idea of what it's going to be before they go and take the time to watch it. So I hope that's helped, and let me know if you have questions.